Hi everyone, this is Melissa, teaching artist and art therapist with Project Create. Project Create is a nonprofit organization located in Washington, D.C., providing free art enrichment and education classes to children, youth, and families. I'm really happy to see you all again in my home, and today we are going to create an I Am book. Now for this activity, there's a few supplies that you will need. Some paper, plain white sheet of paper. If you have a little scrap paper, maybe a different color, construction paper, wrapping paper, or something else, even a magazine, you can use that. You need scissors, glue, magazines, and other things are optional. I have markers, colored pencils, colorful pens, and ribbon. So to start off with our I Am booklet, the first thing we have to do is actually create the booklet. So you're going to take your white sheet of paper, and the first step is dividing it into thirds. So this doesn't have to be perfect, but the general idea is folding one side about to a third to the other side, and then folding the other side like this. And then when it's about into thirds, you're just going to press down. And you want to make sure that you go back and forth along these seams right here and really press down and make a good crease. Sometimes I use the side of my thumb. Then you're going to open it up. You're going to turn it the other way, and you're going to divide it into thirds going the other direction. And again, you're just going to push down and do a crease. Now, if it's not quite right, you can always adjust it. I think I'm going to adjust mine a little bit here. And that should be fine. Then you're going to open up your paper. And you're going to notice that you have all of these rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have 9 rectangles. So what I'm going to have you do is take a pencil or some other writing implement, and you're going to make an X on the rectangles that are in the corners of the paper. So I put one up here, 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 here. So 4 corners. The next step is that we are going to cut out the corners. And you can just take your time and cut right along the edge. Where you see that fold. Right on the fold. Okay, so we have the inside now of our I Am book. It's going to be folded like this. Or It could even go like this. It's up to you how you want to do it. Now, most books have covers and back covers, so that's the next part that we are going to do. So I have this little strip of colorful paper with a beautiful design on it. I really like this paper. And so what we're going to do with this, and it's just for reference, it's a little bit longer than our paper, the white paper, that's going to be the pages. And it's about the same width, but it could be a little bit wider as well if you wanted to. So that's just for reference. So now that we know that would work, we are going to fold this paper. And we are going to do it in thirds, similarly to the white paper that we just did. So I did the same thing, folded it into thirds, and I'm going to push down and crease. Make sure I have some nice creases there. And I'm going to open it up. So in order for the pages of our book to stay inside, we have to glue the back part down to the middle part of this paper. And I have this Craft Bond Elmer's glue, but if you have a glue stick, that would work really great as well. So the way I usually do it to make sure that I cover the whole page is I make a little circle in the middle and I think about the sun. I'm making the sun. And then I'm going to start in the middle and make little sun rays that go all the way around. So I'm covering the whole sheet with a little bit of glue, making my sun rays. And that's a good way to make sure that you have covered the whole sheet with glue so that it will stick well and hold well for a long time. So the next part is I'm going to stick it in the middle of this colorful piece of paper. And I'm going to open it up. And you can tell there's some little air bubbles in there, and we can smooth that out just by using your thumb and putting a little bit of pressure there so all the air bubbles get out. And there we have our book. If you happen to have a little bit of ribbon and you would like to be able to close your book, you can do that as well. You can cut a little bit of ribbon. And you can use Elmer's glue. You turn over your book. Do a little line of Elmer's glue. Glue your ribbon down. And you're going to have to let it sit for a little while so that it will dry. But when it's dried, you'll have a way to close and secure your book. Like that. But if you prefer not to have a ribbon, here's another book that I made that doesn't have a ribbon. You can just leave it plain like that. Sometimes people like to add buttons or beads to these as well. adding like a little knob and twisting around ribbon, you can do that, or you can just leave it plain. That's completely up to you. Now to fill the contents of our I Am book. Since this book is called I Am, you probably guessed it, that this book is going to be about you. And it's really important for us to recognize who we are and what our strengths are and what we bring to the world. So to help us get started, I have this list of different character traits, different strengths that we all have and we all possess. And what I would like you to do is to take a minute to look at all of these and write down somewhere, maybe on a scrap piece of paper, the different character traits that you have, that you recognize in yourself. Find at least 4, maybe more, that would be fine. And we're actually going to incorporate some of these into our book and into the art that we do inside the book. So you might want to hit pause at this moment and really look over this sheet and write down any of the ones that you recognize that you have in yourself. And think about how you demonstrate these things in your own life and with the people that you interact with, your friends, your family, your neighbors. So I identified a couple myself. I determined that I really wanted to highlight in my book that I was loving, that I was supportive, that I was artistic, and courageous. So those are my words today. And so once you've identified your words and you have those in mind, what you're going to do is think about how you could show that word. Maybe it's through a little drawing. Maybe it's with colors and shapes. Maybe it's with a symbol of how that is represented. So for example, if you're like me and you find that you're a very artistic person, maybe a symbol would be of a paintbrush and a paint palette. Maybe something else. It's totally up to you. Since I loved collage and I love looking for images in magazines, instead of drawing or painting or writing, I decided to look for pictures. So I looked through all my magazines and I found some interesting pictures that I could use. I found this little tiny picture right here. I'm going to cut it out to show you. This little picture right here, to me, shows 2 people hiking, and that represents, to me, someone being courageous, like going out there, seeing new places, going out into the wilderness. So I thought that could be my picture for being courageous today. And then I found this other picture of this lady who appears to be tending to her garden. And I thought about gardening, and I thought about how in order to have a garden that is thriving, that's alive, that's well, you have to nurture it, you have to water it, you have to give it plant food, you have to pull out the weeds. And I thought that went with my word for supportive today. And then I saw this really beautiful picture, this beautiful painting, and I just thought it really spoke to something that's really creative, that's really artistic. So I decided that I wanted to use this word, this picture, to go with my word artistic. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to cut it down. And then for my fourth picture, I found this little tiny picture of this girl cuddling her dog. And to me, that seemed very loving. So that is my picture for loving. So after you've decided your words, and if you are like me and found pictures, at this point, we're going to start to place them in our books. Now it's really up to you how you want to arrange it. But what made sense to me, since there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and I have 4 words, I thought I would put one picture on each of the outside flaps. And then maybe in the middle, write my name or choose another picture that represented myself. I actually found an old picture of myself at the Project Create Art Studio, and I thought, well, maybe I would just put that in the middle. So if you happen to have an old picture of yourself that you would like to use, you can do that as well. So maybe I will start with that. I'm going to cut this down to size so that it will fit. And now for my other pictures. So we have courageous. Artistic. Supportive. And loving. You may have to, again, just smooth out the pictures, get all the air bubbles out. Another way you could do this is by just writing the words. And in this example, each little section has the word, but also some different little marks and designs with different colored pens. But it's really up to you how you want to explore and portray your different strengths. Now, as a final thing you could do, if you would like to decorate the outside of your book, you could do that as well. I found these little tissue papers in my house, and I have a couple different colors here. I have to decide which ones I like. And I found this little shell that I thought was really pretty. So if you want to design the outside of your book, you can do that. I had mentioned earlier, I have seen people use beads and buttons and all different kinds of things. You can personalize it if you want to. I think I'm going to cut the shell out just a little bit. Sometimes it's nice to cut closely around the image and then glue it down, and then it really pops up against the background of what you're gluing it on. There's the shell. And I like that. And then to close it. And there you have how to do a little IM book. So I really hope you enjoyed this bookmaking experience today. I would love to hear from you. I would love to see the books you made, or just what you thought about this video today. So you can email me at programs@projectcreatedc.org. And so please share what you thought about and what you did today. I look forward to seeing you all again. Take care. Bye.